creators, and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's time for another episode of Follow Up Friday. So today I'm going to be making the gift card box that I made in a video a few weeks ago for Oh So Inspired, and I'll link to that video in the description box. But in that video, I just did a project share. I didn't show you how to make the box, and I had some requests to show how to make the box. Now, full transparency, I saw how to make that box on YouTube, and it was a Gina K video that I saw. And I'll link to her video as well. I think it was a live she did. And so I decided to make it using my pattern papers. So today I'm going to do two boxes, and I'm going to use a paper from the Down the Shore paper pad, as well as one from the Awakening paper pad. And I'll link to the Not Too Shabby shop and to these paper pads and ephemeras in the description box as well. But let's get started. This is a fairly easy box to make, friends. So let me grab all my goodies. I've already chosen the paper I'm going to use. So this is the one I'm going to use from the Awakening paper pad. And this is the one I'm going to use from the Down the Shore paper pad. And then I did choose some ephemera for each of them to maybe decorate the box a little bit. So you're going to need paper. You can use cardstock. You can use specialty cardstock, like maybe a metallic cardstock, maybe some textured cardstock. You can use pattern paper. You choose what paper you're going to use. You'll need your scoreboard. You'll need your guillotine trimmer. And I'm also going to use an embossing folder. So I'm going to emboss one of these pieces of pattern paper. But first, let me give you the dimensions you need. So what you need is one sheet of pattern paper or cardstock, whatever you're going to use, that measures 5 inches by 6 inches. Now, if it's going to be a directional paper, like let's say this was the top of this paper and this is the bottom, which I guess it kind of is the way the seashells are facing. Let's cut that one first. This is going to be the top and this is the bottom. And I have a template to show you. Let me show you the template. So this would be, whoops, this would be the top of your box. So this is the top of your box. And this is the front. I guess you can make either which side the front. But this is the top. So when you're cutting, this is going to be the 6-inch width. So you want your paper to be 6 inches wide this way, which means you're going to rotate it and cut it down to 5 inches this way. Okay, and I'm going to save this 1-inch piece there. So I'll trim this one as well. This one's really not directional, so it's going to be at 5 by 6. And once you have them trimmed, then you need your scoreboard. So actually, no, not your scoreboard next. Let me emboss the paper that I am going to emboss first. And I'll explain my little template in just a minute, but let's emboss this paper first. So I'm going to bring in my Spellbinders. Now you could do stamping on some cardstock or maybe some heat embossing. I'm doing embossing with an embossing folder. And this one is from Spellbinders. It's Swirling Blooms. This was the embossing folder of the month from February of 24. So I'm just going to put my paper in this way. And I probably should missed it a little bit, but I'm just going to go for it. So let me get my plates out and get ready to run this through. And this will just give the box a little bit of texture, which I think is nice. Now I'm only going to do this on one of them, so you'll see one that's embossed and one that's not. And friends, I was looking through all of my craft room to try and find, oh look, can you see the embossing on there? Look how pretty on that pattern paper. I was trying to find the boxes I made originally on Oh So Inspired, and I can't find them. I think I actually might have given them away already. So I will just make these from scratch. And you know what? Let me pop up a picture of the ones I made on that video. And you'll see I did 3 different ones. One with a ribbon tie around it. I did one landscape, and then I did another one with some stamped and die cut images and sentiment. So you can really make this your own. So let's bring in the scoreboard now. And I'm going to score on the 6-inch line. You're going to score at 1/2 inch. And I'll put these measurements in the description box as well. And then at 2 3/4 inch. And then again at 3 1/4 inches. And then at 5 1/2. And that was along the 6-inch side. Now you rotate it, and along the 5-inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch, and then at 4 inches, and at 4 1/2 inches. All right, so let's do that with our other pattern paper. But actually, you know what I'm going to do? Let me bring in my template again. And I have 2 templates, friends. I have the one with all my markings on it, and then one that I cut out so that I could see where all my cuts would be. This way, what I'm going to do is put this strip of paper along here. So I'll have a strip along the front, but I want to put it on before I do all my folding and cutting, so I kind of know where my center is. So if my card box is going to be here, I'm going to want it like right about the center. So let me get this attached, and I'm probably going to use my liquid glue just to be quick on the draw here. So this is a good way to use up your 6x6 pattern papers, because you could really just, let me do this on my scoreboard. You could just use one sheet for each little box if you use the strip here to decorate it. And where's my top? That's my top. Go back here. All right, so let's burnish this on here. Make sure it gets on there well before I do all my scoring. Okay, now I can go ahead and score. Now, this being the top, just keeping that in mind for when I cut. So here, let me show you on my template. I know I'm all over the place, guys, I'm sorry. On this template, where I have these dark lines, that's where you're going to cut that out. So this piece gets cut out, that piece gets cut out, so does that, and down here on this corner. So see, and you'll see they're cut out here, and these 2. And then what I like to do is miter. So I have lighter lines right here. Let me make them a little bit darker, maybe dashed. And I'm just mitering these little flaps, so when they fold in, they just, and not that drastic of an angle, very, very small miter. And I'll show you when we're actually cutting our boxes. And then what I also did is get my circle hole punch and did a notch here, and I round the corners of my top flap. So I'll go through all of that with you. But in the meantime, let's score this, and I'll leave these up on screen just in case you want to do a screenshot. So here we're on the 6-inch side, we're scoring at 1/2 inch. I'm going to go a little bit firmer here where I have double layer. And then 2 3/4. And then 3 1/4. And then 5 1/2. And then we're going to rotate it, and we're going to do, now this is going to be our top. Okay, so I'm going to put the top, if you have directional paper, the top to the right side. Then I'll score here at 1/2 inch, Then up here at 4 inches and 4.5 inches, okay? Then you're done with your scoreboard. Now what I am gonna do is, let me move these out of the way. I'm gonna go ahead and fold and burnish all my score lines because for me, it makes it easier to see where I'm gonna be doing all my cuts. So if you wanna cut first and then do your burnishing, do that, whatever works for you. Now this one I'm gonna have to be kind of gentle with, see if it doesn't crack, because I haven't done this before where I layer a second piece. So, and maybe what I should have done is used a dry adhesive so it had more wiggle room. We'll see. We'll see how it works, guys. You could always add just a strip of paper. You don't have to put it in where, like I did right now, adding it to the piece before you fold and burnish. That's entirely up to you. I just want to kind of see. I mean, it's not terrible. It works. Okay, so we've got all our lines folded on that one. Now this one might be more difficult to see only because of the embossing, but you may not be able to see it on camera, but I can see it in person. Let's see. Look at that. Yeah. And fold here. Now I've already gotten a couple of requests for other follow-up Fridays, so I will be working on those, friends. I'm keeping a list. That way I know what I need to work on. And I'm not pressing too hard to burnish these because I don't want to like get rid of all the embossing I've done. So really I should have probably done all the folding and scoring first and then embossed it. But live and learn. Okay, so I'm going to bring back one of my templates, the one that's already cut out, just to keep in my head how I'm going to cut. So you'll see here, this section gets cut, this corner, and this corner, okay? Oh, and this little square there. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to cut it with my scissors. So let me grab my little scissors here, put that out of the way. And following, let's see, this is the top. I'm following my little template here. So if I follow that, let me bring this one better. If I follow this one with all my lines, I am cutting here on this score line up to this second score line. And then at that second score line, I'm going to cut all the way in to meet this corner where I cut the first time. All right, see? And I'm also going to cut out this little square here. So let's cut that one. And then I'm going to cut out this corner square here. And this top corner over here. So see, we've got all our pieces that were supposed to be cut out are cut out now. That's where my X's are. Now, here I need to cut up to the next score line because this is going to be one of our little flaps. Same thing on this score line here. And then we'll do the same here on these score lines. These two, that makes another flap. And on this one. And then what I like to do for the little flaps is just miter them ever so slightly, just so there's no issue with closing when I fold everything. So I'll do that on all of my little flaps. Okay, sorry friends, got interrupted by a phone call. So again, here I am just mitering the corners on these little flaps. So ever so slightly, it doesn't have to be a real dramatic miter on the corner. And I guess you don't really have to miter them. I just do that because I want to make sure my little flaps close easily. And I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. Okay. Now again, friends, since I'm doing follow-up Fridays now, if you have an idea or if there's something I've done in a video that you want me to follow up on, put it in the comments and I will add that to my list of follow-up videos. Okay, that one's all cut, so let's cut the next one. Okay, so we're going to cut here. This one's a little, like I said, it's harder to see the score lines here, but I'll figure it out. And I'm trying to do my follow-up Friday videos in real time for the most part. There'll be little sections of the videos that I speed up in editing, like when I'm doing something repetitive. So for example, I'm doing this box, cutting these pieces out of this box, and that's repetitive since I did it on the first one. So I may speed that up in editing. I may not, who knows? Okay, let's get this trash out of the way. Now you'll see on my template here, I did put on this one to put where you put your tape or glue. So you're going to put tape along this end and then along this bottom two flaps and this longer flap, okay? So let me get my tape out and just put my cards here, my boxes. I keep saying cards, guys. It's because I mostly do cards. Tape. Let's find that tape. Get it on there. So I'm putting it on this little flap here. Now you could use your ATG or your liquid glue. I'm going to use a combination and you'll see what I mean. And then we're putting tape on this side over here. Oh, and I almost forgot. I need to round my corners. So before you put your box together, you'd want to probably fold this out of the way. Let's see, how did I do it last time? Like that. And I'm just going to use this little corner rounder I have, and use the smallest one. And round the corner. See how those are rounded now? Kind of gives it a more finished look. And you do kind of have to fold your box while you're doing it, otherwise it gets in the way. I don't think I did this one right. There we go. And then also you want to get your hole punch, your circle punch, and this one, I couldn't tell you how big it is. It's not marked. It's probably 3/4 of an inch. So on this edge is where I will do my, I'm kind of centering where it's going to be folded. I'll just do half of the circle. Voila. Half of the circle. There you go. Just pop it. And now we can just start to put our cards together. You could probably do your embellishing if you wanted beforehand, but I'm going to just put them together. So what I'm doing here is first these two little side flaps, I'm going to take the release paper off of those and add a little bit of liquid glue to them. The tape gives it like an immediate hold, and the liquid glue gives it a very strong hold. Then you want to make sure your corners are square. So kind of making sure they're pretty square there. Hold them, pinch them. Then I'll take the release paper off this bottom section and do the same, add some liquid glue. And we'll close this up, making sure it's square. And then I'll kind of stand it up and get my bone folder and burnish that down so we have some good adhesion there. And then we'll do that on this side. So we're going to take off this piece of release paper from my score tape there. And then add liquid glue. Close it up. So I'm going to have to be real careful because of that extra strip of paper. Lay it on its side and then reach in there. Okay, I've got that down. Then my flaps, see how they close real good? And I can just close that in and look, one box. Let's put together our next box. Alrighty, and then here's our second box. Now let's add just a piece of ephemera to each of them. So for this one, I just wanted to add this beautiful piece of ephemera here. So let me do that with some liquid glue. And then we'll be all done. Let's see. Oh, let me open this back up because I'm going to lay it flat down and burnish from the inside where I have that ephemera. See how pretty that is? You have one little gift box. Then on this one, I pulled out two pieces of ephemera here. So I think, yeah, I think that looks good. That'll work. So more liquid glue. I could pop this up on foam tape, but I think today I'm just going to stick with my liquid glue. There we go. And then this shell, one more little piece of ephemera there. And let's see, right about there. Let me open it up and burnish from the inside again. And there you go. We have two little gift card holders. All right, friends, I will put the dimensions for the paper and what measurements to score at. And then if I can figure out a way to draw this, I'll eventually have documents in a shared drive. I'm not there yet. I'm still working on it, but eventually I'll have that. But you can probably screenshot this. Let me give you this to screenshot. See if that helps. In fact, I'm going to zoom in just a bit. Alrighty, friends, there are two gift card holder boxes. I'm really having fun doing these follow-up videos. I can hardly wait to do my next one. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end. I'd be thrilled if you subscribed to my YouTube channel or followed me on any of my other social media platforms. As always, have a beautiful, safe, and creative day. Thanks for watching. Bye.